The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our episode of the 15-Point Plan podcast. We're so happy you're here. This is Jacqueline Smith and my co-host,
Jacqueline. Ryan Greigg is here, and I am energized right now, Jacqueline. I got my nutrition, I got my hydration. I slept well last night.
Wow.
And I took my vitamins this morning. I'm jazzed. I'm ready. Let's go.
You're ready to go. You're ready to talk about supplements today. So why don't we start off, Ryan? What is a supplement?
Yeah, Jacqueline, last episode we talked about nutrition, and we know how important nutrition is to our life. And a supplement is just that. And I think it's important that we talk about it, that the definition of a supplement is simply something that completes or enhances something else when added to it. And that brings up this discussion that a supplement is just that. It is something that we should add to something that we're doing already, not in place of, is something that I think is important that we talk about today. And we wanted to share some of the supplements that Jacqueline and I take, maybe from a man's side, what works for me, from a woman's side, what works for Jacqueline, and share that with you guys and find what works best to keep our energy up and our stress down.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we wanted to make sure that we talked about was that the reason we take supplements is to enhance or to help our health, our bodies get the vitamins and minerals that it needs in order to optimize for peak performance. And we should be making a point to get the bulk of our nutrition from, whole foods. So, maybe not having 3 protein shakes and protein bars all day, right, Ryan?
Yeah, and that's probably the best example, Jacqueline, that I've seen of just over the years of training, of working out, being in the gyms, of the excessive amount of protein supplements. One protein shake maybe has 30 grams. If you're drinking 2 per day, that's 60 grams of protein. That's an artificial source of protein. And I just believe that there's better ways to go about getting that protein for your body that your body can digest and use in a better way.
Yeah.
So I believe protein would be one of the best examples of something that we can get in a whole food form, that with the marketing that we see these days, unfortunately, people are filling that in with a supplement that could be done in a whole food form. I think that's a great example.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the nutritional information on a lot of protein shakes, and then you translate that to some chicken and some veggies and some rice or, sweet potato or something on your plate, I know for me, I am not getting the same level of satisfaction or full, like that feeling of being full and satisfied from a protein shake as I am from like a whole plate of foods. So that's something just to keep in mind, that are we just filling our bodies with all this artificial protein supplement throughout the day and calling it food, right?
Yeah, such a good point. And we talked about that with nutrition, of ultimately what we have both found on our journeys is keep it simple. Mm-hmm. The more simple we're eating, the more whole foods we're eating, the easier our body can digest, the more we can turn that into fuel and energy. Yep. Now, that said, when we are eating those foods, we do know that there's vitamins and minerals and additional supplements that we can take that are going to make us feel pretty darn good. Especially if we're eating well, we're getting rest, and we're exercising, doing those other items. So, Jacqueline, I would love to hear some of the supplements that you find work for you, and then I can share some that work for me as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about this morning, and I'm actually not really an expert on supplements at all. And so I'm interested if anyone listening hears what I'm taking and you have information for me. Maybe I shouldn't be taking it. Maybe it's just goofy and doesn't even work. I'm open. So reach out to me. Give me your info. I want it. These supplements that I have been taking, I've been taking them for the last few years. I never used to be able to take supplements. I was someone who bought supplements, Ryan, but I never actually took them. So I would have this whole cabinet, in our kitchen, and it was the supplement cabinet. And why was the supplement cabinet always full? Because I was great at buying them, but I was horrible at taking them. And so that is one of the biggest things from the 15-point plan is just that it's helped me become consistent with taking them. I have one of those like old lady pill dispensers, with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I fill it up every week and I take, my vitamins every night. And so I'll share what I take. They've all been recommended to me by different people over time. And I don't know, maybe they're placebo. Maybe it's all in my head, but I have found my immune system, and that's specifically what I focus on with my supplements, is I hate being sick. I'm a wimp when it comes to being sick.
Same.
I really am not good at it. So I started taking most of these really back when like COVID hit. And one of them is a mushroom capsule. It's by Host Defense, My Community. It's an immunity supplement. And I swear by these. My friend Leah, she's over in New York State. She's the one that told me about it several years back. And I started taking it at her recommendation and I've never looked back. And the other one is quercetin. I think I read that when I was really paranoid. I was doing research about immune systems and COVID and all of that. I started taking it back in 2020, and then vitamin C and D. And then I take a multivitamin that's specifically formulated for women over 40. I just gave away my age, but yeah, so that's all I take. I don't take a ton. I just take a little handful every day. And I find that it has made a difference. Again, it could be all in my head, but one thing I will say is that there's been a couple of times where I've traveled and I've forgotten my old lady pill bottle, my pill dispenser. And I don't know, it could be all in my head, but I've gotten sick. And when I take them consistently, I just find that I have more energy and I don't get sick very often. Knock on wood. I'm knocking on wood. I'm looking for some wood right now.
Yeah, I'm knocking for you. I'm curious, Jacqueline, how did you get into a rhythm of actually using the supplements? They sat in your supplement cabinet, but what caused you to physically start using them?
When I track, using the 15-point plan tracker at the end of the day, I go through all of them. And if I have not taken them yet, that's my reminder to go take them. And so it's really that simple. I never used to, but now that I use the 15-point plan consistently, I just find that if they don't get taken throughout the day, I'll always remember when I'm reviewing for the day how many of the points that I got, and I'll always get that extra point. I mean, that's the easiest one.
Yeah. It takes a minute?
Yeah, it takes 2 seconds to get my point there. So I'm not going to not get that one.
It comes back to awareness. You're looking at your tracker. You're looking at something to remind you, did I do the things that are going to make me feel good?
Yeah.
Smart.
What about you, Ryan? What do you take?
So I had the same problem. I would buy supplements. I'd feel all cool that I bought them, and then they'd sit there and dang it, I didn't use these. So what I did was I put them in my path so that I had to walk by them to get the things in the morning. So they're like right by my coffee maker. While the water for the coffee is boiling, I'm staring at them. So they're all right there. I can't miss them. And it's just an instant reminder to grab them. Plus I keep a backup at my office. So if for some reason I forgot them, I have a printed 15-point plan chart at the office. It's just a reminder. And it's like, oh, they're here too. So that's maybe a hack, is keep a couple sources around. If you forgot to take them in the morning, you have them at your office, they're there for you. I take probably similar stuff as to what you do, Jacqueline, and I've experimented over the years. And I think this is worth pointing out though, because I have taken supplements a lot where I'm thinking, yeah, this is working, right? Yeah, this is working. I'm pretty sure it's working. Is this working? And you mentioned the placebo effect. That's been proven in surgeries, Jacqueline. This placebo effect of somebody going into a surgery and thinking they were getting something that was going to help them, it was all in their brain. So that placebo effect is actually super powerful. And I like to take that a little farther. And we know how powerful our words are. So for me, I'm always saying, I don't get sick.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get sick.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, what do you mean? I just don't get sick. In fact, I came up with the saying last year, I don't get sick. Sick gets Ryaned. But we're laughing, but you see, that's the thing, is like, I have that in my brain. I tell my son that all the time. Like, I don't get sick, Bentley. Mm-hmm. And I just believe that. I'm like embedding that placebo effect into my mind. Mm-hmm. Then I'm taking things like vitamin C, vitamin D. right? I'm taking my multivitamin for men over 40. So now everybody knows both of our ages. I really love this specific product though, Jacqueline. Onnit brand, Onnit. So Aubrey Marcus started Onnit. He partnered with Joe Rogan. Super cool company. Aubrey Marcus podcast is really cool. Y'all know Joe Rogan, but they have an incredible line of supplements, of training products. Check them out, Onnit, but they're multivitamins specifically, Jacqueline. I really love. It comes in a little packet. You just rip that thing open, and it's got krill oil, it's got spirulina, chlorella, turmeric, it's got micronutrients. And then I take this stuff called Shilajit, Shilajit, I think. This stuff is super trippy. This is like a mineral that comes from deep within kind of the tar of hundreds of thousands of years in the mountains. So this is a really high level of micronutrients that comes from the compression of the soils over time. That's definitely one of those things that I feel like, is this working? But again, I'm just thinking, yeah, it's working. I'm telling myself it's working. So I experiment with some things, and I have a really cool community of friends. Shout out to my Activated Force friend group. These are people that I've grown up with, and we are constantly bouncing ideas off each other with supplements, with things that work as far as health and wellness. And so I'm really thankful for that group of friends and that networking to share what works. And that's why we do this podcast. Like you said, I would love it if somebody was to text me after this and say, hey, Ryan, like I heard you say that, and have you tried this?
Mm-hmm.
So we always welcome feedback here and find what works for you. We shared a few things that work for you. The main thing I think is making sure that you're staying hydrated and you're eating food as well, because it's kind of wasteful, it turns out, Jacqueline, to take a bunch of supplements when you're actually just going to flush them right out, because they're going to be either water soluble or fat soluble. And if they're water soluble and you're not taking stuff to help you absorb those, they're just going to go right through your body. And you're not going to absorb them. So making sure that we're getting the rest so that our brains function, and making sure that we're getting the foods, the fats that are going to help us absorb them, and that we're finding what works for us.
Yeah, I look at the movement, hydration, sleep, and nutrition as sort of my 4 pillars for, in the 15-point plan. Those are, my non-negotiables. And if I don't have those 4, then it kind of throws everything else off. And then I'd say on top of that is supplement. But like you said, if I'm not eating well, probably a waste almost to take those supplements. I don't know. But you don't want to think of them as in place of real food and nutritious food. They are meant to be, the definition of supplement in itself is that it supplements what you're doing. So if you have a favorite supplement that we didn't mention that you swear by, that is like you don't go without it, you bring it everywhere you go, we would love to hear from you. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, Jacqueline Ray Smith, or what is it, Bentley's Old Man?
That's right. Bentley's Old Man, Jacqueline Ray Smith. Follow us on Instagram. Share the podcast. We really appreciate every week we get people reaching out saying, hey, we listened to it, we shared it. So thank you in advance for listening, sharing, hitting that like button, that subscribe button. Share it with your networks, 15pointplan.com, and shoot us what's working for you with the supplements. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. Have a great day, everyone, and share the podcast today, and we'll hear you on our next episode.
That's right. Until next time, everybody, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, Jacqueline.
Bye.